Hey. Welcome to the Chazz Palminteri Podcast. We got a great show for you today, but before I bring out my special guest, I want to remind you, go to chazzpalminteri.net because I will be doing my United States tour starting in March. We're going to be the first place. We're going to be in Providence, Rhode Island. So what's the date on that, Sandy Blue Eyes? You know the date on that?
March 13th.
March 13th. I knew he's standing right over there. He's going to be coming up. March 13th, we're going to be in Providence, Rhode Island. What theater? You know the name of the theater? I forgot. I don't know. Okay. Providence, Rhode Island. We're going to be March 13th to see A Bronx Tale, the original one-man show that started it all. Before the movie, before the musical. Oh, my God, 1988, Robert De Niro saw it. That's 30-something years ago. Jesus, God. And we're going to be doing it. I'm going to be doing it. Sandy Blue Eyes will be there selling the merchandise if you want to meet him in person. And the merchandise. So that's chazzpalminteri.net if you want some of the merchandise, because so many people have been talking to me about it. The hoodie, A Bronx Tale in the back. Now you can't leave in the front. Okay, some great merchandise, folks. Another hoodie. This is for the men and women out there who are going to love it. A Bronx Tale in the front, one of the great ones in the back. If your wife or your husband or your boyfriend is one of the great ones, get him the shirt or get her the shirt. And also, Now You Can't Leave. No, this one is what? Oh, Is It Better to Be Loved or Feared? In the back, A Bronx Tale in the front. And of course, the last thing is, look at that. The saddest thing in life is wasted talent. In the back, A Bronx Tale in the front. And of course, the card, the saddest thing in life is wasted talent. It's a great gift to inspire somebody. So chazzpalminteri.net, check it out. So we're going to go and talk about my guest right now. He was started out as a DJ, in fact. And we're going to hear some great stories about when he was a DJ. But in fact, one of the greatest DJs in what was the year, Goumba?
96 to 2011.
96 to 2011. And he was known and still is known as, he's a stand-up comic. He was a DJ. Goumba Johnny. Here he is right in front of us. Goumba.
I'm laughing because you remind me of the My Pillow guy, but only the Italian version.
I was that bad, really?
No, it's that good.
Oh, okay.
That's what it's about. Merchandise.
Well, a lot of people wanted merchandise. Finally, I decided to do it, and now it's a big hit, and I love it.
Well, you know what? I went to your one-man show, and I have to say, after you go to something like that, and you have the experience of seeing you perform, you definitely want a memento, some kind of souvenir to remember the night, because it's a big deal. And I totally understand that.
Oh, that's very nice.
Yeah, merchandise under those circumstances.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? People go out, the theater, nobody goes to the theater every week.
True.
You go to the theater, a couple of times a year, and then you go and you get something, and you get a souvenir that reminds you and that special someone. I'm doing the commercials for you now.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm showing my radio stuff.
Yes.
You and that very special someone could remember your night at the Bronx Tale forever.
Thank you. And it was great to have you at the show. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, man, it was inspirational. I loved it.
Thank you. Now, I know, what is actually your last name, Johnny?
My last name is Saliano, but that's a misspelling. It's Siciliano. We went back.
So you're from Sicily?
My father's family is Sicilian.
But so you figured, because you were so famous as Goumba Johnny and you were stand-up comic, that you kept the name Goumba Johnny.
Well, yeah, it's not my Christian name, but yes. It was just a nickname.
It was a nickname?
Because when I got on the radio, they didn't, my real last name was too hard to remember or say. So radio is very common for nicknames.
Right. Wolfman Jack.
Yes, because
Cousin Brucey.
Because people remember it.
Right.
So that's just the way it is. I mean, a lot of guys don't use their real name.
Now you are old school.
When
you say you're old school?
I'm old school, Bronx guy.
Bronx guy, old school. Now, interesting. Before, we did a podcast with you. We talked about you growing up and stuff. So I want to get into some different things now on this one here. Now, being a celebrity DJ, which you were, you had a lot of you interviewed people.
You know,
When you say right,
yeah,
you had well, you had interviews. You have any like insane interviews or impressive guests that you?
yeah.
you saw?
I mean, there was so many people came. I mean, you know, and some are unforgettable.
Yeah.
And some, you know, one thing, you know, like you're doing your podcast, people surprise you. You sit down and talk to somebody,
Right.
and you have certain expectations,
Right.
and some people just have a presence and they just fill the room
Right.
when you see them in person. And then other people you meet, like celebrities, you're like, I can't believe, how did that person make it? You know,
They're so boring.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing there.
Right.
You know what I mean? And meanwhile, they're like these big media stars. So, you know, you get to experience that on a radio.
Right.
And what's also interesting about the radio is you get to meet people at 6 and 7 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
So
true.
So sometimes they're not really at their best.
Right.
You know, or look their best for that matter.
Right.
But one of the funny stories, my favorite moments on the radio is I got to work with RuPaul.
RuPaul.
Yeah. RuPaul was working at the radio station for the first couple of years. And I was on the air with RuPaul and Michelle Visage, who both do RuPaul Drag Race now. You know, very popular show.
Very popular.
Yeah, they won
Yes.
Emmys and everything.
He seems like a nice guy.
Unbelievably nice person.
Yes.
And I learned so much from him about his lifestyle and the culture that I had no idea. You know what I mean? So being exposed to RuPaul was definitely broadened my horizons.
Right.
So this one particular morning, they set up an interview at spring training. You're going to love this, with Derek Jeter. So it's me, RuPaul, and Michelle in the studio.
Right.
So we come on and say, well, we're going to come live from spring training. We're going to find out about the team with Derek Jeter, and Derek Jeter comes on the radio. So I lead the interview and I say, hey, Derek, you know, what does the team look like? You know, and
Right.
you know, what do you think you guys need and what's your expectations and so on and so forth. And, you know, it goes through a standard interview that you might hear, let's say on ESPN, a guy asking questions. So RuPaul steps up to the plate, no pun intended. So he goes, hi, Derek. He goes, this is RuPaul. And, you know, Derek goes, you know, he's on the phone. He goes, yeah, hi, RuPaul. So he goes, what's your favorite food? So Derek goes, excuse me? So he goes, what's your favorite food? So he goes, I don't know. He goes, I guess pizza. So he goes, okay. He goes, do you know Andy Pettit? So he goes, well, yeah. He goes, he's my teammate. He goes, I think he's really cute. Can you get me his phone number? And you could just hear Derek Jeter put down the phone. Hey, who got this interview?
Oh, wow.
And I couldn't stop laughing.
Wow.
No, he didn't do it in a mean way. No. But he was like in shock. It was so funny.
Yeah. Wow.
So I couldn't stop laughing. And I know you know the Yankees. This has nothing to do with the radio. So there was a guy who, I wanted to tell the story because you're such a fan. There's a guy who lived up the street from me. He was a retired cop. His name was Tommy.
Right.
And he played the organ outside by the baseball bat.
Right, yes.
Right. It's like it's a complicated, very hard organ to play.
Yes, it's like a very big organ.
It's a church organ.
Church organ, yes.
So he played it in the church. So he got a job, and in the beginning of the Yankee games, he would play Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Right?
Right, yes,
and then
correct.
he would come out at the end of the game and play again. So I said, hey, Tom, what do you do during the game? He goes, oh, they let me go into the Yankee suite. So I said, really? I said, have you ever met George Steinbrenner? He goes, well, I seen him. Yeah, I see him. I saw him in the elevator the other day. I said, what's he like? So he goes, well, he got in the elevator with me the other day, and he said to me, he goes, Tony, he goes, I just want to tell you something. You're doing a hell of a job with that organ. And he goes, well, you know, Mr. Steinbrenner, he goes, my name is Tommy. So he goes, son, you ever correct me again, I'll fire you.
Really?
Yeah. He goes, and I knew you would love that story.
I love that.
Yeah. So I said,
because I knew George Steinbrenner.
Yeah, because that's what George working for George Steinbrenner was like.
That sounds like him. Yeah. I mean, again, I didn't know him very well.
Yeah.
Met him a bunch of times. Always seemed like a gentleman. Always seemed like
I heard
a great
that
guy.
towards the end of his life, he was a lot gentler.
Yeah, but he was the boss.
Yeah, he was the boss.
They called him the boss, and that was good reason why, because he was the boss. But to say something about George and his family, George Steinbrenner did a lot of great things for people, especially the Yankees.
Yes.
When they retired, if they needed something, they needed money, George was always there.
It's
for
a
them.
tremendous organization and a tremendous amount of tradition.
Oh, yeah. And everybody knows I bleed pinstripes. I love the Yankees.
I'm probably one of the few Bronx-born Met fans.
I can't talk to you right now. It's fine. But I mean, that's pretty amazing, the stories when you were a DJ. I mean,
I interview. You get to interview everybody.
What was your best interview? Your favorite interviewer? Could you say one?
Well, there was one. The only time I was really taken back on the radio. I mean, we had Madonna, Will Smith, Jennifer Lopez, NSYNC, and Backstreet Boys, and Cher, Bette Midler. I can go on.
So
and on.
you had all of those.
But anybody who was promoting a movie or music and so on and so forth. The only time that I would say starstruck was Olivia Newton-John.
Really?
Yeah, because I watched Grease so many times.
And to see her in person.
And I was
actually, she came.
Yeah, she came in. I was sitting next to her, and I was like Sandy D. Sitting next to Sandy D.
Right.
I got such a kick out of it.
And he was starstruck.
I was like,
Right.
I mean, not like like I was a stalker or anything, but like I was a really
fan.
Yeah, I was a fan. I was starstruck.
You were a fan.
I seen her so many times in that movie. And to see her in person, I'm sure people feel that way when they see you. Sometimes
I don't know.
I can't tell you how many people tell me Bronx Tales is their favorite movie. I hear that often.
I hear that often too. Yeah, it's amazing.
And then when people see you, they're like, "Oh my God!" It comes to life.
It comes to life.
It's a reality.
Well, I remember meeting Frank Sinatra the first time.
Wow, what was that like?
It was. In fact, then I got to know him, and then I went out to dinner with him. I could never get over the fact that he was Frank Sinatra. Anybody else, I worked with De Niro, Pacino, Nicholson, and I consider them friends, or I know.
Fellow actors.
And I mean, incredible talents. I mean, when first time I met Bob, I remember meeting him, and after we acted together in his house, because we went over the scenes, I walked out and I was in the elevator and said, that was Robert De Niro. I just acted with him. I was freaked out. Then I said, hey, you got to get your shit together because you're going to be working with this guy.
Right, yeah.
And then I was okay. But Sinatra, every time I was with him, I could never get over who he was. Never.
What was his presence like?
It was bigger than life, But if you spoke to him, he always said, I remember meeting, he loved Dean Martin. Dean Martin was his guy.
For real.
For real.
Yeah.
But Dean Martin used to say that this is Frank's world. We just live in it. Don't go by me. He used to say it's Frank's world, and that's what he always said. But anyway,
best friends have to compliment themselves like that. Especially in people who work in show business.
Yeah,
as you know, it's so hard for partners to work out in show business.
Yes,
it's like I mean, all the partners I had on the radio. I always felt like I lit a fuse on a bomb, and I just didn't know how long the fuse was.
Because of competition and things like that.
There's always something that happens, whether it's personal or professional.
Yeah, I can never understand that because I always got along with everybody because I always believe that you let the other person shine and you'll shine too.
Yeah.
And that's why I always like the other person to really shine. It's not about me. When I do my podcast and when I do a solo one, it's about what I'm talking about. But when I do a podcast with a guest, I always want them to shine. Because the better they are, the better I am.
Yeah, and that's a very healthy attitude. And for me, I've have a lot of patience.
Yeah.
And tolerance, and if you're going to be in a partnership,
yes,
that you're going to need that.
Right. That's real important. Now, you being Italian, do you cook?
You know what? I don't cook.
You don't cook at all?
I don't cook. You know what I mean? I got married late in life.
Yes.
And, I kind of made...
Is your wife Italian?
My wife's Italian. My wife's Sicilian.
Oh, wow.
And my wife does not cook. She prepares food. There's a difference.
No, but I heard stories. Wait a second here. I heard stories from certain people that your wife makes great lasagna.
Okay. It's a story, and I'm going to tell you why.
Is that true?
The true story is this. We had people over the house, right?
Okay.
And my wife prepared lasagna, and she put it out, and the couple we were with, the wife loved it. She goes, "Oh my God!" She goes, "I have to tell you, this is really good."
Lasagna's tough to make.
Yeah, lasagna's not easy to
Not
make.
easy to make. That's
so
a big
she
dish.
said to my wife, she goes, "Is this your family recipe?" As you know, as an Italian.
Yes.
Our recipes.
We always say that, yes.
Yeah. So I said, "Yeah, it's my wife's family recipe. They come from a small town north of Rome called Costco." And, the lasagna was from Costco that she took out. She heated it up.
And it was great.
The people loved it.
Costco.
So I tell everybody she's from Costco, Italy.
Where in Italy? Costco. Costco. But it sounds like a town.
It sounds like a town in Italy.
It sounds like a town.
So we got away with it.
Now, you being old school, and you are old school, because I know I'm old school. We're close to the same age. I'm older than you, obviously. But do you find the new generation is, like I noticed the one thing about when we grew up,
right?
When we were born, our fathers didn't go into the room. I know my father didn't. Did your father go into the delivery room when you got delivered?
Not that I know of. I know he came to the hospital, obviously, and he saw me, but he didn't tell me any stories about me.
They would never go to delivery. They would go play cards or go to the ball game and, hey, I got a son.
Well, cigars.
Cigars.
They used to hand out cigars, remember?
Used to hand out cigars.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a girl.
Yeah.
But they weren't there. I mean, because I got married late in life too, like you. When my son was born, I cut the umbilical cord.
Wow.
And when my daughter was born, I cut the umbilical cord.
What was that like?
It was different.
Yeah.
It was.
Were you nervous?
I was nervous, yeah, because I didn't want to screw the damn thing up. I'm like, he's giving me.
Well, I would have took the attitude of, doctor, I'm paying you a lot of money. I mean, why am I doing the work?
Exactly. He's handing me the scissors.
You get a discount?
They call it, because I got first when he was born, when he came out, I said, look at the size of this thing.
Did he look like you?
I thought it was a big schlong. I said, my son's got some. She goes, no, that's the umbilical cord. Oh. We have to cut that. So I cut that. I remember my son Dante and my daughter. Obviously, she was, a girl, and she, but still, you gotta cut that thing, and it's like weird. But it's. I mean, do you find that? I mean, now they have these. What do you call them? The gender. They reveal
gender reveal parties. Yeah.
Yes, they have balloons. If they're pink or the blue.
I was totally ignorant. A friend of mine invited me. Yeah. He calls me up and he goes, Johnny.
So you went to one?
Well, I was invited to one.
You were invited to one, okay.
I was invited to one. There's a story behind it.
Yeah.
Guy calls me up. He goes, Johnny, I'm having a gender reveal party. He goes, I want you to come. And I spent $3,000.
Gender reveal party?
He goes, I put a big spread. He goes, I'm having like 100 people. And I'm like, wow, you spent $3,000. So he goes, yeah, we're going to let everybody know what we're having. So I figured I'd crack a joke. I said, well, I assumed it was a human. He goes, cut the crap. He goes, we let everybody know if we're having a boy or girl.
Do you find that to be a little like...
Well, I said to him, this is where he got a little upset. I said, you're wasting $3,000. So he goes, you're wasting $3,000. What makes you say that? I said, you spending $3,000 on this gender reveal, and then the kid's going to turn 13. He's going to go, I don't know what I am.
Oh, shit.
So he goes, you're the only one that could ruin a gender reveal party without going.
Wow. Yeah, but when I hear that gender reveal party, I said, is that for someone who's just born or someone who...
They let you know what they're having, boy or girl. And
I would find people who are from the woke side would say that's kind of like racist or something. Like,
well, I mean,
I don't know.
That's where I really kind of like, joked about it because, today.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, when we were growing up, things were very definitive.
Yeah, you were a boy, you were a girl.
You were a boy, you were a girl.
Again, when you get older, if you feel like you're in the wrong body, I have no problem with that.
I totally understand all of that.
I totally have no problem with that.
Yeah.
I worked as a bouncer. You worked as a bouncer.
Yeah.
And I worked at the Limelight in the early 80s. And they would have, I worked gay night, I remember, on a Mondays. And I would meet a lot of the transvestites.
Yeah, drag queens, like RuPaul. Yeah.
Like RuPaul. And they were it was sweet as could be. Yeah. And I treated them like a woman.
Yes.
I said, come on in, dear. And I got along great with them. They loved me.
Well, you know what? I agree with you. I just think it's a little complicated now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
especially
I don't
when
know.
You get, because look, We grew up, like we're talking, we grew up with a certain set of sensibilities.
Yes.
And
yes.
each generation, sensibilities change.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
And you gotta give guys like us a chance to catch up.
That's
you know
true.
What I mean?
That's
I
true.
mean, they don't give us,
Right.
You could teach us, don't tell us.
Right.
Teach us, don't tell us, and have some patience. And, I accept the way things are and what people want to be called, but for a guy like me, it gets a little confusing when, people want to be called, by different
the pronouns. Yeah, I have to admit, I'm a little confused with that myself.
Yes, somebody said that their friend wants to be referred as they. And I'm like, wow. I said, I don't mind it, but you couldn't pick a singular pronoun?
Yeah, they.
I mean,
so
person.
They wants to meet. So they want.
How about just you?
But how about
or him?
Yeah,
right?
I don't know why. Yeah, I'm a little confused with the pronouns.
Well, the pronoun thing is interesting, especially for people who were raised like us.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's ambiguous to me.
Right.
So people say, I want to identify as this. And then I'm saying, well, you just kind of left it cloudy for me. That's not identifying.
Somebody said to me once they wanted to be identified as X.
X.
And I was like, X. I was a little confused. I said, X. You want me to call you X? And I'm one of those. I'm not going to deal with this person every day.
Yeah.
So if they want to be called
X,
X,
just roll with it.
I roll with it. I go, okay,
yeah.
X.
Look.
Okay,
I don't. Last thing I want to do is insult somebody. It's a big world out there, and let people live.
I roll with it.
Let people live the way they want to live. That's
right.
the end of the story.
Now I know you travel all over the world. You travel all over. You're doing your comedy, and you work with a very funny guy, Anthony Rodia. You and Anthony. Okay, so how do you feel when you guys are on the road? I mean, how do you feel about this? Do people wear masks on the road mostly? Do they have are they vaccinated? What is the story about that?
It's interesting because one thing you'll find out is that every state handles the pandemic different.
Okay.
Me and Anthony were in Ohio, and we got into the hotel, and we turned on the TV, and the governor came on, and he said, I'm lifting the mandate for the mask. Starting tomorrow, you don't have to wear the mask.
While you were at the hotel?
Yeah. So I said, great. We went to CVS the next day. I didn't have a mask on, and apparently some guy didn't see the announcement, and he saw me online, and he had a shit fit. He goes, hey, where's your mask? Where's your mask? And I'm like, we don't have to wear one. The governor's, lifted the mandate. He goes, I don't give a crap. He goes, you should have a mask on. And I'm like, dude, relax. You don't see me complaining about your father not wearing a condom.
Wow.
So we got in a fight. And
wow.
No, I'm only kidding. No, but you know what I mean?
No, that was a good comeback.
It was a good comeback, you know what I mean? And the same thing with the vaccines. People, I'm vaccinated. You can't come over my house unless you're vaccinated. And my wife was having wine with her best friend. And the conversation turned to the vaccine. And her best friend goes, I'm not getting vaccinated. I will not put anything in my body unless I know what it is. And I'm like, great. Does that include the 2 fake tits?
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
A quart of Botox in your forehead.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but
my wife doesn't have a best friend anymore.
So you're not best friends anymore?
I don't care. It wasn't my friend.
Wow.
But you know what I mean? There's a hypocrisy to all this. Is really what I'm.
Yes,
I try and point out through comedy.
Well, I said this before. What the internet has done is people who were always assholes.
Right.
Now they're just bigger assholes because now they can show everybody in the world.
They have a stage.
They have a stage.
Yeah.
They have a platform. They have a stage. And a lot of times I'll see comments on my podcast, and, if they're not flattering, I don't care. I don't care because the worst thing you could do is answer them, I feel.
Yeah.
So I just let it go.
Well, I got that on the radio. You know what I mean? You speak to some, our station had a cume of over 2 million a week. And,
I can't please everybody.
I mean, that 1% of the people have to be a little nutty.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And,
right.
You get things, and it was really bizarre.
So you had an audience of 2 million people?
The station did, yeah. Wow. Yeah. Oh, over 2 million, weekly listeners.
And you did that for how many years, John?
I did. I think 16.
16 years.
Yeah, and I don't want to do it anymore, and I started doing comedy.
Right. Well, obviously it worked out really well.
Well, one thing about the radio is, you're not seen. You know what I mean? Right. So, you're telling jokes and you're entertaining people, many people that you don't know.
Right.
And like you're making a couple of people laugh in the studio.
In the studio, right.
And you have no idea whether you're really funny or not.
Right.
And then, when you're in stand-up comedy, I get that instant gratification of the audience. And you perform in front of an audience. You're one-man show.
Yes, correct.
Right. You do a movie, you don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
You're shooting a movie.
Sure, I don't know.
Until the premiere.
Yeah, see, the great thing about doing my show, because my show's all, it's a theater piece. So they're quiet, there's laughter, they're crying. It's comedy, stand-up, that scares the shit out of me. Just getting up there.
I don't know why you say that, because your show scared the crap out of me. Because
it's different. Yeah.
The amount of energy that you expend during your show is utterly ridiculous. And I'm like, wow, how does this guy do this? How did you do it when you were on Broadway?
I don't know. It's a very good question.
Yeah.
8 shows a week,
yeah.
5 shows in 48 hours. I have no idea. Again, I was a lot younger.
But I suspect that you couldn't talk to anybody in between shows.
No. Talk to anybody between shows. I didn't talk to anybody when I came home. When I came home to eat, my wife knew and the kids knew, Daddy can't talk, because I had to save my voice.
Yeah, you could easily lose your voice.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Now, I was blessed with a strong voice.
Did you ever insure your voice?
No, I never did. That's a good idea. Stay safe. Where's my assistant? I want my voice insured. Wow. I mean, has COVID's changed everybody's life.
Oh my God. Yeah. And it changed lives. Well, first of all, the one thing, the positives of COVID.
There was some positives.
Yeah. Everything's cleaner.
Everything's cleaner. And also, ever since 1972, when The Godfather came out, every time I met my friends at a nightclub or at a wedding, I had to kiss everybody.
Right.
Hey, Louie, Joey, come here.
Exactly.
Nobody fucking kisses you no more. I love it.
You don't have to do any of that.
I used to kiss more times than I did my wife. Every time you walked into a bar or a nightclub, Louie, God bless.
Yes.
Not once, twice, 2 kisses. More.
Right.
Some of them crazy ones 3 times. Bum. And I'm like, you know what it is to kiss?
I know.
10 guys.
I know. I don't miss any of that.
I don't miss any of the kissing. I mean, holidays were different, birthdays were different. Christmas. How about a Christmas?
COVID Christmas, I'm going to miss.
You're going to miss COVID Christmas?
Yes.
Why is that?
Why? Because it was just you and your family, and you didn't have to have those relatives you really don't like over your house.
Right.
You called them up. Hey, Bob, if anything would happen to you, I wouldn't be able to live with myself. Yeah, right. You know what I mean? We're not going to, you can't come over this year. Click. And you're like, hey, cousin Bob's not coming over this year. And everybody's like, yay!
Right.
You know what I mean?
Totally different. COVID.
Yeah, wasn't it for you?
I like that title, COVID Christmas.
Yeah.
Wow.
But things are opening up now.
They are opening up.
Yeah, I'm getting invited to weddings and stuff like that.
But still, I don't have to do the kissing yet.
No. I like the fist pump. I don't even like the shaking of the hands too much.
Let me tell you, they prove the fact that how you let germs go to another person is shaking hands. Shaking hands is worse than getting in close, because you touch your face, you touch your mouth, and you shake hands.
Yes, and there was some kind of study. Well, it wasn't a complicated study, but I forgot what the number was, but it was astronomical how many times you touch your face that you don't know during the day.
Hundreds.
Yeah,
hundreds.
I didn't know that. It was like 500. I don't know what it was. Look, I just did it now.
You just did it now.
You have no idea.
Right.
You touch things. So
right.
So I mean, some good things came out of it. I mean, people are a lot more conscious of germs, and they're cleaner, and you see people clean up where they normally wouldn't clean up.
Right.
And people don't invade your space as quickly.
Wow. Now, when you do material. When you think of material to write, do you basically read the newspapers, you watch TV, or you think about things like that? I mean, how old? No, you don't mind me asking. How old are you now?
I'm 65.
65.
Yeah.
You look great.
Thank you.
65 years old. I know you had a little problem with sciatica. Sciatica.
Sciatica, yeah, I got
That's
it
why
now.
you're a little in pain right now, but you're doing a hell of a job.
I'm doing a hell of a job.
When you notice when you get older, you take pills.
Yeah.
You take any pills when you get older?
Sure. I mean, after 50, it's all about prescriptions.
It's all about prescriptions.
Yeah, that's it.
So you take pills to...
Yeah, I'm not... I
don't take pills all day.
No, I don't take pills all day, but as needed for what I have. Sometimes I take some stuff, like an anti-inflammatory, and I got a touch of arthritis in my knees. But But I take stuff just to, as needed or just to keep me going. What about yourself?
I take. What do I take? I take an aspirin every day, and I take a thyroid thing because I had thyroid, and just to help keep my thyroid up. But I'm not too bad.
Your weight is amazing. You keep your weight.
Well, that's because the less you eat, the longer you live. A real guy,
that's
the head of longevity, told me that many years ago in Beverly Hills. I said, "What's the one thing that absolutely, positively works?" Don't eat coffee, drink coffee. Don't drink coffee. Do that.
Right.
I said, "But what?" He goes, "Less you eat, the longer you live." He goes, "Go to an old age home. There's no fat people." I said, "Oh, that's true. Think of that."
No tall people either.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. So if you're like, you don't see any guy like 400 pounds going, "Yeah, I'm 94." That doesn't happen.
That's interesting.
Happen.
I never thought of it that way. It's the truth.
Think about that.
Yeah.
So when you write about stuff, like I always see things on television and I go, yeah, I like to talk about this. Things like what's something that the Loch Ness monster,
right?
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot.
That's another one.
I'm a Bigfooter.
You're a Bigfooter?
I believe in
You
Bigfoot.
believe there's Bigfoot?
Yes.
Now you believe.
Pisses my wife off.
Wait a minute, Johnny. I can't believe it. You believe there's Bigfoot. In this world, there's a thing 10 feet tall with hair on it, and you're telling me no one has really filmed this or seen it?
Well, they claim they have film on it. They haven't been able to verify it.
What?
They got film from a distance. They got pictures. I mean, they have TV shows about this, and it drives my wife crazy. My wife goes, I don't mean to rain on your parade, but there's no Bigfoot. Bigfoot doesn't exist. They're not going to find him.
I got to say, I'm with her on this one.
Yeah. So
right.
She can't believe. She goes, "You're a college-educated man. How could you believe in Bigfoot?" And there's a show, Finding Bigfoot. There was 100 episodes.
I heard of that. Yes.
Yeah, I watched every episode twice, and they found nothing.
Johnny. They found nothing.
No,
Johnny.
but I found it comedic because these guys would be looking for Bigfoot in the woods, and then they would put peanut butter and bacon on a log. Right? And they would say, "This is what Bigfoot likes to eat. We're going to wait over here until he comes out when he smells the bacon, and then we're going to get a picture of him." I'm like, no one's seen a Bigfoot? How do you know what he eats?
Right.
What did you do? Hack his DoorDash?
Right.
I don't understand. This makes no sense. And I'm watching it, and I'm like waiting for Bigfoot to come out. I'm like, who's the idiot here?
And you're watching it.
I'm watching it. And they did 100 episodes.
Wow.
But I like the whole mystique of the Bigfoot.
100 episodes. That means people were watching it.
Oh, yeah.
Think about that. They did 100 episodes.
Of Finding Bigfoot.
So you don't do something that doesn't work. If people are not watching it, you shut it down.
Well, what does it say? These people are unbelievable actors.
Yeah.
They must be unbelievable actors because they got what 100 episode show means.
Wow. Yeah.
Right?
100 episodes is huge.
And nothing. They found nothing.
So there is no Bigfoot. So your wife was right.
Why? You know what? I'm hoping that there's... I'm hoping...
Well, it's fascinating to me
that...
I
just want to see Bigfoot come down from the mountain and just say to everybody, "All right, line up. I'll let you take a selfie and then get off my lawn, you son of a bitch.
Leave me the fuck alone.
Leave me alone.
I'm going back into the wilderness."
Yeah, me and Mrs. Bigfoot, we're going to spend some quality time together.
Yeah, that's right, because he would have to have a maid. He would have to have children.
Right. And he'd have to live somewhere.
He'd have to go hunting.
You know what I mean? I mean, he's Bigfoot. I mean, just think of the doorways, the bed. I mean, how could you not find... And here's the funny part. everybody who sees him is a hunter with a gun, and nobody shoots him.
Nobody shoots him. Wow.
Shoot the thing. I mean, I don't want to kill
Talking
Bigfoot.
about gun. Do you know? Talking about guns. I go hunting and for only deer and stuff.
Have you ever seen a Bigfoot when you
never
hunted?
saw a Bigfoot. Never.
No? Tracks?
And I go with bow hunting because I want to give the animal a chance. No, I never saw tracks. But when I think of hunting, I go to sometimes I'll go to a Walmart.
Right.
I never been to a Walmart. Have you ever been to a Walmart? I've been to a Walmart. It was like fascinating to me.
Well,
when I was on the road, I went.
Well, you see, that's funny that you said it because we grew up in the same neighborhood. There were no Walmarts.
No Walmarts.
And in Westchester,
right,
no Walmarts.
No Walmarts.
And I didn't have anything growing up. And I remember the first time I went in a Walmart in New Jersey, right. I was going to a gig and I had a suit jacket on.
Right.
And I walked in and people were looking at me like I was the owner. Hey, we love your store. And I'm like, no, I didn't. You know what I mean? Because you go to the mall to people watch. You go to Walmart to creature watch.
Really?
I've never seen, right? Yeah. There are unusual people in Walmart.
In Walmarts?
Yeah. I mean, people bring their kids there to play.
Walmarts?
Yes. And what's fascinating about Walmart is that you can buy a kayak, a quart of oil, a dozen eggs, and a pair of underwear in the same store.
Walmart, I mean, all of those people who create a Walmart, they're all multi-billionaires.
Yeah, the Waltons.
The Waltons.
Yeah. Started off one store, 5 and dime store, I think, in Arkansas.
And now they're all over the world.
The whole family's billionaires, yeah.
They're all billionaires. I think when they list the top 10
How old were you when you first went in?
Recently. Not too long.
And
yeah.
I have to say, I was taken back. I went into Walmart, and they had a McDonald's in there.
Yeah, I said they got everything.
And people were picking up their wedding pictures.
Wow.
They had a photographer in there. I'm like, what the hell?
I think they just said, you know what, we're going to sell everything. And they do.
Wow. It's hard. How do you compete with that?
You can't compete with it. And that's the only bad thing. They do. They kill the
mom and pops.
The mom and pop stores.
You can't compete with that.
But I got to tell you, Johnny, I love having you on the show. You're so old school. For people that want to see you and see Anthony Rodia, where are you going to be next?
Tarrytown Music Hall, first week of March. That will be locally. We're gonna be up in Rochester at the end of this month, and then.
Wow.
I don't know. We're traveling we're pretty much booked up for the rest of the year.
For the rest of the year. Now, when people want to know where you are, they can go to your Instagram.
They can go Instagram at Goumba Johnny, GoumbaJohnny, Johnny, at Goumba Johnny, Instagram. And Anthony and I, every Tuesday night, we do a live broadcast.
Every Tuesday night?
On Facebook.
On Facebook.
On Facebook at rodiacomedy.com every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. It's called A Little Bit of Laughs.
A little bit. I got to tell you, I saw Anthony Rodia and Goumba Johnny together. It's like an incredible show. People rolling in the aisles.
Well,
if you get a chance to see these guys, they're great.
We met because of you.
You and Anthony?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we would never have known each other.
Because that show we did?
You had a charity, and
yes.
you asked me to perform, and you asked Anthony to perform.
Right.
And we came down, and that night we instantly became friends, and soon thereafter working partners. And I tell that story on stage.
Wow, I remember that. Because
if you have any complaints, ask Chazz Palminteri.
You guys tore up the house.
Yeah.
I remember that. We had Chris DeStefano,
yes.
and Rob Magnotti.
Rob Magnotti.
And what a great night that was. But I got to tell you, Goumba, do some people go Goumba? Do they call you Goumba? Do some people say Goom? Listen, Goom.
My wife calls me Gumby.
Gumby, okay. Johnny.
That was too much information.
It was really, it was really great. Yeah.
Does your wife have a nickname for you? Come on.
I tell you, it's not Gumby.
No.
It's not a pleasant one, it could be like, get the freaking garbage, I work on a set when I'm a director, I boy, 600 people around. I come home. No. Get the garbage, throw it out.
Now, I have to say real quickly.
Yes.
I realized how human you were when the first time I saw you and Dante talk.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because father-son.
Father-son, yeah.
And he's like, Dad, come on, get out of here. He's like, and I'm like.
Of course.
I'm like, and you're going, Dante.
That's what it is. You grow up your children and they make fun of you. They love to make fun of their father. my son Dante and my daughter Gabrielle, they love to make fun of their father.
They're dynamic.
But that's okay. I love them, and my wife.
It really keeps you grounded.
Keeps you
Kids
grounded.
keep you grounded.
They keep you grounded. Hey, Dad, what are you talking about, Dad?
I know. That's the part that makes me laugh.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, that's Sonny. You can't talk to Sonny like
Yeah,
that.
but they don't want to hear that shit. But Johnny, I really I love having you on the show.
Yeah, you kidding?
I love having you on the show.
Anytime.
I can't wait. Don't forget, I will be doing my first show. My first show is March 12th at Woonsocket, Rhode Island at the Stadium Theater, 8 p.m. That's March 12th, Woonsocket, Rhode Island, Stadium Theater at 8 o'clock. See that show. That's my first show starting the United States tour. Go to Chazz Palminteri, ChazzPalminteri.net, and you have my whole schedule for the year. God bless you. Go to my store, go to my merchandise, check out the schedule. Good night.